I'm Erendira, and I live here in Rosarito. Welcome to Rosarito. I was born in the United States, and I lived in Mexico when I was a little girl. After I was 8 years old, we moved to Los Angeles. So most of my life, I lived in Los Angeles up until 46 years ago. I moved to San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 40 years before I moved back to Mexico. And I chose Rosarito because it's a beautiful little town. I don't consider it a big city. I'm from a big city, so Rosarito to me is a small town, and I like that. I didn't want to live in a big city. I didn't want to live in Tijuana, but I wanted to live close enough to the border where I could cross to do shopping, to go to the doctor, to visit friends, and still have my direct connection to the United States. Rosarito was the perfect spot for me. I haven't lived anywhere else in the world. I'm a Southern Californian, and so Rosarito, the weather is like Southern California, like San Diego, where I lived really most of my life. I lived in San Diego, so the weather is similar. I can cross within 45 minutes. I can cross back to the U.S. If I need to go back for anything. There are many great restaurants here in Rosarito. I enjoy going out with my friends and going out to eat. There's a Centro Cultural, a cultural center here, so there's art. And it's really great because a lot of the performances are free. It's always nice to have free performances with musicians that are world-renowned musicians. Many of them are from Mexico, are Mexican. But I have gone to different concerts here where the musicians are from other parts of the world, playing with Mexican musicians. So I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that I could live both of the parts of who I am. I'm bilingual, I'm bicultural, so I could visit with friends that are Mexican and speak Spanish with them and enjoy the culture that I grew up with, which was the Mexican culture. And then, of course, in my business life, I grew up around Americans. I grew up, I went to the university in the United States. I went to elementary, junior high, high school in the United States. So I enjoy experiencing both of my cultures in one place. When I came to Rosarito, my plan wasn't necessarily to come and start a business. But as I met people who only spoke English, they started asking me if I would teach them Spanish. And part of my experience in the U.S. was I was part of a team that developed a curriculum to teach teachers to be able to teach children who only spoke Spanish. And I decided, well, I have that background, I have that experience. Why not? Why not teach Americans who want to speak Spanish? So I did. I started developing a curriculum, a program. It's called A Natural and Fun Way to Learn Spanish. And I started teaching Spanish. From that, one of my students asked me, can you help me with my visa? And again, in my previous life in the United States, I had binational business consulting where I was part of a group of consultants who would help American companies who wanted to do business in Mexico and Mexican companies who wanted to do business in the United States. So I thought, well, I could help this person. I know how to work the government systems in Mexico. I could figure it out, and so I did. And so she encouraged me to start a business, helping Americans with their visas and teaching Spanish. It's a great way for me to also to give back, because a lot of people are lost in how to do it, and they're scared, and I understand that. So I live in what I would call a semi-rural area. I don't live in the city, in downtown, and so my day starts by I watch the news, and I watch the U.S. news. I want to know what's still going on in the U.S. I go for a walk. There's a park close by where I live, and I go for a walk. I go out with friends and have lunch, have breakfast, have dinner. Again, as I said earlier, I enjoy going out with friends, and I enjoy eating. And there's lots of great places to go eat. I go listen to music with my friends. On Saturday, I'm going to a blues festival. If you're interested in giving back to a community, Blues Against Hunger is an organization that my husband and I have supported for the past 6 years. And what they do is they have local musicians and musicians from throughout Baja and Mexico City. They get together and they play blues, and people come and bring food, non-perishable foods. And this Saturday they're having a festival, an all-day festival. So one of the great things that I found coming to live in Mexico is that I was able to buy a lot, and I was able to build a house that I would not have been able to do in the United States for many, many, many reasons. But I live in a beautiful home that there's no way that I would have been able to have in the United States. Building a custom-made home from the foundation on up, it's not something that the average person, and I consider myself an average person. I was a professional in the United States, and I worked very hard as a professional. I had a career of over 40 years. But even with that, I would not have been able to afford what I have been able to afford here in Mexico. And I see it as a blessing, and I'm very grateful that I was able to do that. If you're going to move to a different country being Mexico, don't come with the expectation that everything is going to be the same as where you're coming from, or that you're going to change things to be the way that they are from the place where you're coming from. Come with acceptance and accepting the differences, because there are definitely differences. Don't come with expectations, for example, that I'll give you two perfect examples of something that I had to adjust to. One is, if I want gas for my house, for my stove, I have to call a gas company to come and fill my gas tank. That probably is true also in the United States in very rural areas, but not from most cities. You have the gas that automatically comes into your house. You just, as long as you pay your gas bill, the gas comes automatically to your house. The other thing is water. The two basic things, water and gas. I live, like I said, in a semi-rural area, and I have what's called a pila. A pila is a cistern that holds water. And I have to keep up with whether or not I have water in my pila, my cistern, and I have to check it. And when I'm running low, I have to call uh, a truck that comes and fills it up. Two very basic things that people would come here expecting that it's going to be different. And so don't come with expectations that everything is going to be the same, because it's not. It's going to be different. You're coming to a new country, new culture, new systems. Everything is different. And come and relax, because if you stress out, nothing's going to get better. It's not going to change the situation. And come and enjoy the things that are here, of living more in a more relaxed way, which is what I enjoy. I feel perfectly safe living here. I came here with my husband, but my husband passed away a year ago. And I do have a community of friends, a support system that I've created over the past 6 years. But I feel perfectly safe. But again, I'm not going to places that I don't know, but I wouldn't do that in Los Angeles either. If I don't know a community, I'm not going to just drive into a community at 2 o'clock in the morning expecting that I'm going to be okay. I wouldn't walk in Los Angeles by myself in the middle of the night. I wouldn't go and get drunk and not know what I'm doing and expect that I'm going to be safe. I mean, so a lot of it, I think it's common sense no matter where you live. But I feel safe, but I'm also aware. I don't leave my car unlocked. I don't leave my house unlocked. But again, I come from a big city where you would do that anyways. Earlier I was talking about differences. One of the things that is different is since I'm close to the border, when I cross to the US, I go to the bank, I take money out, and then I cross and go to an exchange house. And there's an exchange that changes, that fluctuates every week. And so I go in and I exchange money. And because I have dual citizenship, I have a bank account here in Mexico, and where I put money in that bank account, and I do all of the payment of my utilities, my electricity. I pay it from my Mexican bank account. When I lived in the United States, I lived to work. This is something that I used to cover in my trainings that I've done on cultural diversity. I used to just work, 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 work. My children grew up. There were many things that I missed because I was very focused on my job and my career and my business. And here in Mexico, people work to live. Think about that difference culturally. In the US, we live to work. But here, people work to live. What I would say to Americans who are thinking about moving to Mexico is learn about the culture. If you're going to be coming to Mexico, come and give back to Mexico. Give to Mexico. Don't just take, but give to Mexico. There's many opportunities to not just to be socially active within the American or expat community, but also to be active within the Mexican community. There's many social programs that people could become involved with orphanages, with education, supplies for schools. If you have contacts with medical institutions, how can you not just come and take from Mexico, but how can you come and also give to Mexico and really be a part of Mexico and assimilate into this culture? Learn more about the culture, learn about the language. Don't just come and live within an American community, but really become part of this wonderful country, if you're going to live here, become part of this wonderful country.